where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. The grass is greener in America, where freedom sings, where hearts run wild. The grass is greener in America, a shining city, a dream compiled, the place the world keeps reaching for. Oh, 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 oh,
Alrighty then, how do I get this off the screen? I put that up there and I still got it up, trying to figure out where it went to. Busy doing 30 other things here simultaneously, trying to multitask and falling down on the job for this screen. All right, where are you hiding at there? I know it's there somewhere. There it is. All right, welcome back to the program, folks. It's Sunday, April 12th, 2026, 14 months since President Trump announced his refugee program for South Africans suffering from unjust racial persecution. Not for Afrikaners, not for white farmers. No. Those are lies. They've been lies all along. Predominantly, it's been white South Africans, but Indians, coloreds, and black South Africans have also come over the country under this program. Welcome back. Good to see you all once again. Let's see if we can't get an audience growing here a little bit earlier than I normally do it. I normally do it at 9 p.m. on a Sunday, but I didn't want to intrude. Also, I've got to leave here to meet with a South African who lives in America that has a big business and is offering employment to South African refugees. So we need to go have a meeting and see how that goes. All right. So I'll let you know how that went later on. Had an interview this morning, earlier today. Also, I need to note something very quickly here that came to my attention in the last broadcast during the news. It came to my attention that someone had come across a website. Then someone else mentioned Shelley Hepburn. Someone said Shelley Hepburn did a video. It wasn't about me, but it mentioned me. And the video, someone had found this website on their own, and so I went and looked at it. It's a website that has its own domain, and it's using my videos and my name, Professor G's name, and saying nice things about us, but it's embedding that stuff into a pay site. And for what? You don't have to pay for any information when it comes to the refugee program. I've told you that since February of last year. The program is free. There are exceptions. You obviously have to get yourself to the interview. That's on you. And in the States, you'll have to repay your flight, but you don't pay for that up front. It's all taken care of. So you don't pay for the processing, for the medicals, for the time, the labor that's spent by the U.S. government on your behalf or contractors we hire. None of that's your expense. And anyone that tries to, keep that information behind a paywall is just trying to take advantage of the situation. You pay nothing. You pay nothing. All right, so keep that in mind. Let's go. What else we got over here? Let's see if we get into anything else. I just published a video on it literally moments ago. It says, so much for my hour break, you my back a rest and you stretch out. I didn't get a chance to do that. I was going to take an hour off here to do that. But unfortunately, this story, I had to make a video and it took a little time. How do you contact me? Via email. The Afrikaner American Online says, that's me, it's clear, I'm not charging anyone. Fair enough. Then someone is... Again, in the last broadcast, I said, I don't know if the person has good intent. I don't know any malicious intent, but I gave no approval. I gave no approval. I know nothing about it. No one contacted me about this. Yep. And that's the danger. We had a good-hearted effort by one of the folks who's in our chat to collect information to pass to me to try to get people moving from the October-November group. That was last week. That was not coordinated with me. And so people assumed all sorts of things, and that's not fair. You can't use someone's name or reputation, and whether the intent was noble, but it doesn't matter. These things pop all over. There are scam artists, and this site here, I have no doubt that the site is legitimate, but the person never contacted me. I'm not aware of them contacting Professor G, and it comes across as if you're paying for information. Don't pay for information. Information's free. So if you're listening, the owner of that website, I didn't throw shade on you. I was very fair on the last thing, but you did not contact me. You did not contact me, and that's not cool, because look at the confusion it creates now. You know, I know nothing about this. Nothing about this. All right. As per request 2 or 3 videos ago, I sent an email regarding stuff under another name, but subject line is this account, an apology. Oh, red. Okay, thank you. Benjamin, trust you're doing well. Hope that many people have today. Had some crabs yet. I had crabs yesterday. They were very disappointing. They were billed as large. They were all small. I got paid for medium large mix, but I got small crabs. Not one of them was large, and most of them weren't medium, and they were not tasty. They were bland. They were very disappointing. So, oh well, that sucks. And you know, life is like that. Life doesn't always go the way you want it to. What is your take on foreclosed properties as a first purchase? I've done some research on those properties and I identify the risk. Pat Meister, I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking me, do you want to buy a home that was foreclosed on in the United States? Well, that comes with risk, but oftentimes you get a much better price because the bank, it depends how far in the mortgage the loan was. The bank can sell it for a lot less than it's worth if they've already made their money off of it, or they made a fair portion of money. They just trying to recoup their loan and make a little bit of money. As far as that, homes go into foreclosure because people buy more than they can afford, or they lose jobs, they can't afford to pay them anymore. Sometimes they go into foreclosure because the place is just a mess and people don't care to keep them up. So yeah, check into that. What are you guys talking about progress? Seeing USA, we are part of the October in 14 months with you. We will eventually be able to. Esmari, okay, I don't understand what's going on there. What is everyone talking about progress? Somebody update me. I'm in the dark. I don't know about this. Just like I didn't know about that website and that channel. I have nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. If the person had asked me, then I probably would have helped. Heidi says, I had a look at the site, and it certainly gives the impression that you are potentially in collaboration. Yes, it does give that impression. And as I said in my video and in the previous stream, the owner says nice things about us, and thank you for that. But also, there is a link that says, you know, you have to pay a fee to be part of a private community. That's what it says. I didn't misrepresent that. That's on there. So if that comes down, then it's a different story. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to show shade on any content creators. The content wasn't stolen. But the content is embedded in their website on a private website, which means it doesn't go back to YouTube. Third interview, Pretoria. Third interview. What did you do wrong there, Bram? Jacques says you've been busy. It's time for you to take a break and some time for you. We will miss you and we'll be okay. Who are you talking to me, Jacques? What break? I did a week consulting at the War College. Then I went to Las Vegas the same day that I finished the week of consulting, or the next day, I should say. And then I came back from that and was here for 2 days. And the same day was in fixing things at the Veterans Organization, organizing events, and then was right back into a week at the War College. And now this weekend, then another weekend at the War College, and then finally I'm free next week. But this weekend, as soon as I finish the War College, I drive to Pittsburgh. And I tell you, what a journey that's going to be. I had to look far and wide to find a place I could afford to stay, because these shysters have driven the prices up. Well, supply and demand, you know. But apparently, I guess the NFL draft is in Pittsburgh. My misfortune is this coming weekend. And so the hotel I stayed in for $89 last time in a Hilton property was $302. I can't. That's before taxes. I can't afford that. Not when I'm going to be gone for 3 or 4 days. So, yeah. Anyway. Such a cheek to ride your back with all the work you've done. Name and shame, seeing his position. Look, I'm not looking to name and shame anybody, Reed. I'm not accusing you about anything. I'm just telling you what I saw. There was no venom. There was no vitriol. There's no personal attack. I just said I'm not associated with. I was not asked. I was not communicated. I didn't authorize my name to be used. That site said for a fee to be in this private group. So, you know, that's what it said. Anyway, so look, I'm not trying to start any hassle with anybody. People take things way out of scope, but I'm just saying. First camel filter sleeve to $8 channel, $104. I don't know what that. What's a sleeve? You mean a carton? Did you buy a carton of 10 packs of cigarettes? Is that what that is? You got to give up that cigarette smoking. Carton of cigarettes used to be $4. What is this movement, the so-called forgotten group? What are you guys talking about? Is something happening in without my knowledge? And as Maria's told me twice, she's coming to America, but she hadn't explained what's going on. Okay, let me get back down the chat here. Complete our entire process in November. Okay. Was so upset when I heard people say they decided on 99. They're not wanting to go any. What are you talking about, Sonia? What's 99? What are you talking about? Mr. Echo, you've been gone. Those were tulips, and the tulips have died. So the bulbs are outside, planted in the ground. The tulips I have outside are still growing. They've come up late. Yep, they were the bulbs that were in here last year. I planted outside, plus the ones I planted a few years ago. Yep. Yeah, Red, did you complete the intake? Yeah, okay. Esmer keeps saying the same thing. Oh, flying USA this week. We are part of the October group. You helped me when my mom died. Okay. No, I got you, Esmer. I remember that. No, but I mean with the October stuff. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you're part of the October forgotten group, and you're flying this week. See, there you go, folks. There you go. Nobody was forgotten. Like I said, nobody was forgotten. Johan, thank you for 35 Rand super chat. No, only a few people got tickets and approvals come up, putting their own thoughts into things again. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. People are making it sound like there's movement. I have no evidence there's movement. There may be people in that so-called group, which is not a group, but people call themselves a group, who are now getting tickets, but it's just a matter of, to my knowledge, just a matter of how things work, the course of events. So maybe I'm wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong, but not to my knowledge. So just because a couple people have gotten tickets who claim to be in that October-November group, and I say claim because there's no such thing. No such thing. First off, there was no November group. Nobody in November had tickets. Nobody in November had tickets. Abraham, Fund Invest Toys. Hello again. Did you send me an email? I didn't see anything from you earlier. Thank you, Hisigi, for clarifying that. Yep. Okay. So I'm not sure what that's all about. If you guys can tell me, then just tell me. But I don't know about that. And by the way, for that owner of that website, I treated it fairly. Not only I treated it fairly, I gave people access to link to your website so they can decide for themselves, to your YouTube channel. I gave them that and your website. So, yeah, I did that. So the reason I say beware is because people didn't contact me. So don't assume that I endorse or have approved of something. That's what that's all about. Hello, folks. Welcome back. Chris in Central Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, it's necessary to make... Okay, and that's the video I was doing. I was putting it in Facebook while we chatted because, unfortunately, Facebook, you gotta listen to crap when it comes up. The way they do stuff, I don't know. It's just I'm not a Facebook fan, so I put it on mute. I managed to get mute there, so it'll silence it while it loads up. Anyway, now it's loading. All right, cool. Back to this. All right, so... Email me when you have time. Please take a look. Just Cool Stuff. Is it under Just Cool Stuff or is it under something else? You don't have to tell me what it is. Just let me know. Just Cool Stuff. I've received a few messages since this started. Advice, case number, contact. More people ask for contact with Ann. Wow. Wow. Okay, and what was that? Sennheiser. What was that? Andres Muller super chatted. Colonel, I hope my email reached you within a minute to spare. Andres, your email. I don't have any message from Andres. April 9th. He sent me something. Huh. Yeah, Andres, I've got your message from 3 days ago. Thank you. I just saw that. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, UN. I'm not aware of them even having a program there. So we pay private contractors for that. So that's a bit odd. Maybe they group themselves. Yes, they are a group themselves. Yeah. Yes, but that doesn't make them a group. It doesn't make them a group. I mean, the only way to be a group is if you were processed together. You can make that argument. Child is turning 4. They see preschool fees are madly expensive in the USA. Well, why you send your kid to preschool? I didn't go to preschool. I started first grade. So Michael Franco came out of hold 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks later, my security completed. Just want to get your perspective. Well, Chesigi, again, that's an internal thing. It's why I don't like the portal. Internally, that may just be, let's say you have 5 columns. Okay, this is a rugby sheet, but let's say you have, checks that go here, 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 here. Someone comes back and it's successful, completed, and then it updates says completed. That doesn't mean it's completed necessarily. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know what to tell you. It's probably a good sign, I would imagine. Yep. Case in January, it's moving very fast. This week it's the final interview. Well, congratulations to you, Vander Boykes, but that's not the case for people from February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December of last year. Some of whom are still waiting. Fingerprints, have heard nothing since then. Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. When is then? August? October? January? You asked for the emails. Yes, I got you, Andres, but no, I'm not refuting the email. Thank you for the email. But I didn't see it. Thank you for pointing out to me. But I don't, yeah. I'll have to look at it a little closer when we're done here. Yeah, Expats Pen is also over here, also from the so-called October group. Mr. Echo says, with previous in-country programs, how does South Africa's in-country compare with regard to this? I don't have an answer for that, Mr. Echo, because I did not participate or observe or even pay attention to the in-country program that was done for Cuba or the in-country program that was done for Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I don't really know. I do know there's plenty of Bosnians here. I've met some of them over the years. Yeah, but I don't know how the process went for them. But I suspect this is worse because of the nature of this program. You're on hold for 2 months, then security turned to completed for a second time. I know it will change, but surely. No. I mean, Hasigi, that's probably a good thing, especially given the background. I think that's probably a good thing. But I mean, you're just asking my thoughts. Looking more like a board commander than ever before with that beard. You should have seen it was down here, way down here. Anyway, does this make me look more like a board commander with this? Put that on. My Tugela hat. Does that make me look like a board commander? Ekis kus de la Rey, de Leon for the West Transvaal. How's that? Does that make me look like a boer commando leader? Just curious. Did you skip kindergarten? I didn't go to kindergarten, like Ryan. There's kindergarten, preschool. What the hell is that? I went to first grade and got an education. We turned our world into pantyweed. I don't see what the benefit of this stuff is. So I'm being facetious. No, but I'm not being facetious about going. I never went to kindergarten. Never went to preschool. Went to school. Nobody watched us. They just threw us out in the street, and let us play in traffic, and we survived. I went one day and told my mom, these babies can't even read. Exactly, Light Rain. Exactly. Yeah, I was already playing chess when I went to first grade. Karen Rabe, CDC is the centers. It's the centers for disease control, not centers, centers. Yeah, a lot of people miss that. It's the centers for disease control. You should be patient. We were in the November bunch and did an interview last month. Approval letter received, just waiting for tickets. Okay. Petty Waterkloof. A question: driver's license. Do you have to renew your driver's license in the U.S.? Yes, we do. In fact, mine runs out this year. My driver's license, I just noticed today because I had to file my taxes and I had to, in order to file the Pennsylvania, I had to confirm my driver's license number. My driver's license runs out the day after my birthday this year. So just barely got over 4 years on it. This time it's the first time 4 years. So this is the first one I ever had with a photograph of me with a beard on it. See, there you go. Yep, so 4 years. Yep, so you have to renew your driver's license in America. It's not like Germany where license is a lifetime deal. It's just pretty smart. All right, that's a good question. Sent you the timeline email as request 15 months since first PRM. Okay. Yeah, Daryl, thank you for that. Let me look for that message real quick. Okay, Daryl. I did ask you to do that. Remember, though, but I was tied up this week. There it is. Gotcha. And you sent on the 9th as well. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Thank you so much for that. Your first question, without reading it to the audience, I'm going to tell you because you are. Because you are. Yeah. I don't mean to be callous, but that's the deal. All right. Thank you for that, Daryl. You like that hat, Jess? Well, you like that one. What about this one? What do you think? You like that hat? What do you think of this one? I'm a cowboy. What do you think of this hat? This hat suits me very well, huh? Well, it's because you're in California, Utopia, and the U.S. government. That's California. It licensed all those Sikhs who had no comprehension of the country or of our traffic laws, failing tests. They're not frozen all over the country, to my knowledge, for refugees. That's just California, I think, where it happened. I could be mistaken about that. South Africa's license word lifetime, then the ANC came in power. Yeah. Portal also freaked me out. Then I took a breath and told myself, if they make changes, they haven't forgotten about me. Exactly. That's a good point. If it goes up or down, that means they're still processing your case. That's a good sign. A U.S. professor suggested I enroll in USA University in a PhD program with paid tutoring obligations with least sufficient to live off of. Well, okay. Snippets. I mean, I can't answer that question. I don't know what university you're going to go to. I don't know who's going to pay. I mean, you're going to survive by doing tutoring as a PhD candidate. I don't know. It has to be a big university that has lots of students and has lots of need for tutoring. I don't know. I mean, students don't typically have a lot of money. There are some wealthy ones, but I couldn't possibly answer that question. I mean, you'd have to tell me where. You'd have to tell me when. You take research, find out how many tutors there are. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what value it is coming as a refugee and enrolling in an education program for a PhD. My recommendation is come here, get settled, get some money in the bank, work for a bit, and then if you want to pursue a PhD, look at what money's available, because PhDs are expensive. It takes a lot of money. It takes a long time. Yeah, driver's license renewal is just a money-making scheme. Yep, you should only need to revisit a license if something happens to you. If your vision declines, if you're injured, if you're physically incapable, if you become demented, or you have Alzheimer's, that's the only time it should matter. I agree with 100%, Neff. It's all just a scam to make money. Yep. Frederick Mostart, welcome to you. My wife wanted your Pokemon. Oh, she wants Pikachu. She can't have it. I picked that Pikachu up at the King Shaka Airport in Durban. Once I went through security, it was there. I think I paid like 400 Rand for it or something like that. Yep. Charles, what's going on? Don't mention dates flying. No, you shouldn't mention your dates. You're doxing yourself. Martin, not just a grip. I don't know what that is. Okay. Might trade the boar for a cowboy. Yeah. You're not confiscating my hat. I went to Vegas to get that hat. Cinderella has been under administrative hold waiting since early December. See, here's the thing. If you're under administrative hold, if it requires information for FG, they have an obligation to get a hold of you. That's the thing. So that's what I don't understand, why some people aren't getting hold of. My partner and I are getting married and receiving our passports later this month. Should we wait to submit our application until we have those documents? No. Okay, so you have to have a passport number to submit the intake questionnaire. However, many refugees have anecdotally told us that they filled the form out and put their identity card document in there, number, and then when they were contacted, they had gotten passports in the meantime. They just said, well, it's the correct information. So I personally, if I was in your boat and my life was in jeopardy and I was suffering persecution, I would use my ID number to get the thing submitted and then get your passport and then just, sorry, my back is killing me. And then just, give them the correct information. It's not going to stop you from going anywhere. They just need information needed. Cowboy hat is hands down your best look. Well, thank you for that, Lucy. See, I appreciate that. Iceman, what's going on? What happened to all who applied for refugee states if suddenly they decide to put it on hold? What happens if all who apply for refugee status, if the USA suddenly puts it on hold? Well, then they won't come over. Marafori, they won't come over. It's as simple as that. President Trump suspended the refugee program for the world last year in January, and 21,000 people already approved, some with tickets. Many waiting on tickets didn't come. They're still waiting. You're at the whim of the U.S. government, whomever's in charge. That's the reality. That's why you should not put all your eggs in one basket. I've told people that from the very beginning. Not that it's likely to change. Yes, my Pikachu does have a black tail down here on the bottom. Sit there, buddy. All right. Got married in December to get on the same case, but didn't. My wife changed. What? I have no idea what you're saying. Your language is messed up. It's the name of the film industry grip company. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, that makes sense. A grip. Okay. We will have our folk shot, no negativity. Okay. All right, Devette. That's cool. Good luck with that. Okay. Email yesterday saying identified an action for implementation when I asked administrative action. Huh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we personally only received our passports after the intake questionnaire was completed. So apply, make sure you get passports soonest. There you go, Neff. See, that's right. There's nothing. Is Pet Lift dead and buried? My dogs. Snippets. I don't have an update from Pet Lift. I talked to Morgan. Let me see if I've heard anything from her again. I get so many messages. Maybe she wrote to me again. Let me see real quick. Quickly, I should say. Morgan. Last I heard from was March 11th. And she said that the war with Iran is having an impact. It's affecting shipping routes. And they're still working it, so they're not moribund. Meanwhile, I understand, I've heard rumor that Project X is not happy with me. I don't know why. I've not said anything bad about Project X. The only thing they've told me is that they got a couple of dogs over here, and I confirmed that based on what they said. So I don't know why they'd be unhappy with me, but yeah. Anyway, look, I don't endorse nor do I attack any of these programs. I'll give the information as best I can get it. And I have nothing new on Pet Lift. You're probably going to have to bring your pets over on your own, which is what I figured all along. And what I said from the beginning, you have to bring your pets over on your own. So, can you switch the Canadian license to US CDL? How is that relevant? Were you in Canada and now you have a Canadian license? No, a commercial driver's license is something you have to qualify for. Do you have a Canadian commercial driver's license? Then maybe that's the case. Kaki says, if the situation in Iran escalates, do you think Iranians could also become refugees like Ukrainians did? I don't think the U.S. is going to take Iranian refugees. We already took in 500,000 of them in 1979, 1980. I don't think we feel compelled to take them. Trump would say no. I don't know if you got to my email yet. Still keen to do anything. Oh, sorry, Iceman. Sorry. Okay. No, I didn't. Let me find that so I can print it out. What was that? Shelter by the Almighty is just subscribed. Well, thank you for that. Okay, let me go find Iceman. I have nothing from you. Guys, I don't know what usernames are. You've got to give me a hint in the title, okay? I type in Iceman and nothing comes up. CGC's problem is not UCS with RC because I came out of hold just a month ago in the same status. I'm more resigned now to wait. Okay. Family in USA just got contacted. Don't know what that means. Rion, what does that mean? What family in the USA just got contacted by whom? Another, because we're not married. Would I have to apply for separately, or can we, or say we're married because we're getting married? No, you can't say you're married if you're not married. Do not submit an application claiming you're married when you're not. You'll be accused of fraud. What if something happens? What if someone falls ill and you can't get married? What if, do not, no. Either get married and submit it or just submit separate ones and then link it after the fact. Antoinette, because my shoulders are broad, I need a XX t-shirt. And now because I think I'm getting a little pudgy, I probably need it. But XX is the one I wear. And also the stuff shrinks. So Absa Towers Home Affairs was excellent. Thank you for that, Rukulus. Okay, you got your passport in 7 days. Okay. Still no movement on all our case adjudication. I know you're aware of our stages yet. Username for email is Brendan, sir. Subject's YouTube account name, Brendan. Okay. Okay, go back and check that because maybe I made it wrong. Brendan. Where are you guys sending emails to, man? Because this stuff ain't showing up. Let me see. Ah, there it is. Got it. You just sent it today. Okay, you just sent it today, so I only got it today. All right, cool. All right, Brendan. Not Brendan. Whatever. Whoever that guy is, I got it. Okay, I'll look at it. Waistline doesn't equal hypertension. Your blood pressure is how you get hypertension. Okay. You can always apply for work visa anywhere. It doesn't have to do with the refugee program. It's completely separate. How many people did apply to be refugees to the U.S.? Nobody knows. The U.S. government has never disclosed that. We've had lots of estimates, lots of analysis, but we've never gotten updates, and the government's been very mum about it since then. Yep. The South African Chamber of Commerce in America, I think, say they turned 70,000 names or 70,000 cases over to the U.S. Embassy, which I don't think they've done anything with it. So we saw the number that was released by Marco Rubio when he testified in Congress last year after the statement of interest was out. He said how many people had applied. So we have no idea. Just a lot of people had unrealistic expectations, so they're getting disappointed. Matthew Dixon, what happened to your avatar? It's just an M now. If you lived in the USA before, have an SNO people there, can you waive assistance? Well, it doesn't open resource for others. That doesn't matter. It's not like there's 10 apples and you're taking one of the 10. They'll just spend the money. That's how it works. Okay, don't worry about that. Yes, there is a budget, yada yada yada, but no, that's not going to be a consideration. One person doing that. If you have a link here and you're going to stay with someone or something like that, yeah, you can request. We had Anne Fiona on the program for a refugee interview this morning. She had a friend she knew from the gaming community. And asked to go to where he's at, and he provided accommodation. So they're doing remote, so they're saving a ton of money on her. But she still got her assistance. You still get the money. You don't turn it back. The amount you get may be reduced if you've got resources. Don't worry about that. They'll ask you that question. They'll reduce it by that amount. Carlo Martin. What do I think of Sacramento? It's California. It's a capital. It's hot. DeVette comes here just for accurate news. Colonel just happens to look like one next Boer Commando Generals. Well, you never know what might happen in the future. So who knew that cream is called heavy whipping cream here? No, cream is not whipping cream. Whipped cream is different than cream. When I milked Jersey cows, we skimmed the cream off the top, and we use that. That's not whipped cream. That's you're mixing things. Our daughter and family got approved. We wrote to RC. They said they're still waiting for info from. So I'm not sure, Loretta. No. I don't have high blood pressure. I've told you my blood pressure before. We've sat here and done it. My heart rate, my blood pressure. No. Well, your doctor can tell you that all he wants. Probably just try and get you to lose weight. No. It can be people who are skinny have pre-hypertension. They have hypertension. Oh, that's weird, Matthew. That's strange. Thank you for sharing that. California sucks. Somebody said California sucks. Says Charles. That was Charles said that. Yeah. No, I mean, look, having a waistline over 40 inches. Well, who said I had a waistline over 40 inches? Where'd you get that from? Who said that? I used to wear a 32 trouser. I don't wear a 32 anymore, though. Long time I was at 36. Yeah, Andrea says, all the trolling, Matthew. That's why you can't chat anymore. Raining in Sacramento today. Jesse Owls. I used to Barracu Pet Transport. All right, what'd they charge you? Do I accept fan mail? What do you mean by fan mail? You talking about postal service? Yeah, well, I've got a post office box for that. Write to me privately. I don't advertise that. I offered accommodation in Arizona. They will definitely arrange for you to go to that area if you have accommodation. Not definitely. They'll try. There's no definite to anything. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Antoinette. That's why. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, what did you want? What kind of cream did you want? What are the chances of being placed in the same state as your U.S. tie? Pretty good, even if you're not going to live with them. Hey, Sandy, how's it going? No, pretty good. Pretty good. Waist size is sugar, not blood pressure. No. Why are you guys all medical experts? I'm sorry, you're not all medical experts. Waist size is not sugar. What your obsession with sugar? What is this obsession with sugar? Eating too many calories is how you get a waistline, not by eating sugar. Okay, you can eat all the sugar you want if you don't exceed your caloric intake or you don't have some sort of genetic issue with your ability to process sugar. Okay? I don't know what this obsession is, this obsession with blood pressure and everything else. Why are you guys worried about that? We've tested my blood pressure. It's like 118 over 58 half the time. That's not high blood pressure. That is not high blood pressure. That's incredibly healthy blood pressure for someone my age. Well, your doctor may be serious, but I don't know where he went to medical school. Moscow? Look, it's an indicator. But just saying people it's okay. So my blood sugar, my glucose level, several years ago when I was still active duty, habitually my glucose is 85. Now, that doesn't mean anything to you guys because you don't measure it the same way. But 85 is incredibly healthy. 120 is pre-diabetes. Okay? When you get above that, then you start getting in trouble. Get above 130, you're going to wind up a diabetic. 85 is incredible. I had a bitch at 85. I had a blood test. I had been sick, and I was recovering from being ill. My blood sugar was 105. 105. I was concerned. How do I go from 85 habitually to 105? That's deep concern for me. So I had them do an A1C test. That's where that blood measures your blood over a 90-day period and gives a more accurate reading than the glucose test. And fantastic, great results. Nothing there. Guys, quit being obsessed with this stuff. Do a little more research, okay? There's, again, yeah, waist. Look, I know people who are rail thin. My grandmother was rail thin. She was a diabetic. My mother was thin. She was a diabetic. My sister's not thin. The older, this is not my older than me, but the older sister, she's a diabetic. She's not thin. My little sister is not a diabetic to my knowledge. Maybe who knows? But no. My brother's skinny. He's not a diabetic. I'm not a diabetic. No, your waistline. Look, these are indicators, but it doesn't mean it's the case. Okay. All right. Besides, I'm not. I mean, look, I'm beating myself up about being chubby, but I'm not exactly fat. Hey, Mara. 85 is very good blood sugar pre-meal. Yeah, well, that's fasting, Broken Arrow. That's fasting. You have to do a fasting. Okay. Not being active enough causes weight. And that's the problem, Cinderella. This is the problem. I can't exercise. I can't walk for an hour and a half every morning and for an hour at night. I can't walk more in a short distance because my hip just doesn't work properly. So that's what happened there. Yeah, where are the refugee questions? Why are we talking about blood pressure and sugar? Hear that those who ride will get unused old state land. Huh? No idea what that is. Okay. September, October, November are getting called back for re-interviews and getting press on Facebook posts, tattoos, and political topics on a related case. Ink Addict, I don't know who you are or where you're coming from or what you're sharing. Are you part of the USCIS? Are you part of the U.S. Embassy? Are you someone that works for RSC? Or are you sharing anecdotal information about people who have tattoos and Facebook posts? Oh, by the way, political topics are not unrelated to your case. That's nonsense. You think that what you put on social media is not related with your worthiness to come to this country? You are very mistaken. It's very much related to it. And it has been a problem. Tattoos have been an issue all along. That's not new. I did not enjoy the crabs. You're late, John Crew. They were terrible. That was a waste of my money, and I paid for large, and they were small. They were like this big. Large would be like this. These were like this. Uncle was blind. Well, diabetes can cause blindness. It can also cause... Hang on a second. What's this? Yeah. So that was the employer, the South African employer. They're calling to let me know they're on the way. meeting them up the road. So, if you had only one thing about you love about America, what would it be? Are you asking me if I had one thing that I would love about America? Our Constitution. Unfortunately, it's been eviscerated by the Biden regime, but the Constitution, yeah. Colonel's perfectly healthy. You will have to stay out with it. Oh yeah. Veroshka knows. Even with my leg messed up my hip, Veroshka, I wasn't even trying to walk at a fast pace, but you had to keep up with me, didn't you? Yeah, she saw me yesterday. Yep. Alert, ready to go. Although I've had some senior moments the last couple of days because I've got so much going on, I haven't focused. I got confused about a couple things. Anyway, but no big deal, like including where I left my damn phone the other day. I never lose my phone, but because I broke my routine and I was busy trying to do so many things, couldn't remember where my phone was. Veroshka was there. She knows. I found my phone because I had secured it properly, but I just couldn't remember that I'd done that. Okay. Just so I can settle and have a better understanding of things work because people, okay, what's he saying? Eat meat, can't go wrong. Untrue. Too much meat gives you gout. Too much beef gives you gout, the purine. So be careful. Well, the Inuit aren't eating beef. They're eating whale blubber. And a lot of fat comes from eating fat. So let's keep that in mind too. But let's get back to refugee questions. Okay. Divorce, my court decree is sufficient. Do you need to apply for unabridged parents? Your court decree should be all you need, Eugene. Should be all you need. Finished interviews in medical mid-November. Only silence since says is Madeline Ruiz. Isn't tattoos art for most Americans? No. No tattoos. No interest. A little sexy little birthmark right there. Yeah, but no tattoos. Nope, no thank you. Nope. God's temple will not be desecrated. Just because one person got called back doesn't make it all. Exactly. The person actually said it was in the live stream on her Colonel show, so just stop the rumors. Martin says the best diet is the refugee patient's diet. Re-interviewed last week. We were part of the October group, complete everything, only got re-interviewed 7 months later. Okay. October group. November, December, January, February, March, April. That's 6 months. If one has friends, saying not family, what are the chances you'll be placed close to them? Well, it depends. You can ask to go there. It just depends on whether there's resource. Now, if your friends offer you accommodation or they offer to sign a lease for you, they offer to do things that's going to take a burden off the government, then the government will probably be more likely to do that. Medicals expire in 2 months. Yeah, Langman. Well, you're late to the game, man. We got people with medicals expiring in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 days. 2 months is an eternity. You got plenty of time. Things in Rochester are going better, but not because of Church World Services, but because the refugees themselves. Chris Wyatt has a job, ironically, at the Department of Health and Human Services. People he never got a matching grant from because his case officer to do the job. Charles says, once you've been in the Army, you tend to walk fast. Well, I also have long legs, and I can't stand, lingering and loitering. Yesterday's video, did you know on a website that university near you lists politics and history of subjects? Yeah, but there were no openings, and there have been no openings for that. And also the history is not African history. So yeah, but I'm aware of that, Snippets. Thank you for that. I'm aware. I occasionally look on their website, and I'll look right now. Let me see. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Job opportunities, and I've already been there. So faculty and staff, student, I want staff, faculty apply here. Okay, let's see what they got. Mechanical biomedical engineering, managing director, International Business Institute, full-time electrical engineering, full-time tenure, or clinical track for nursing. That's all they have open right now. Yes, so they can have those departments, but if somebody sits on a seat for 35 years, no one's going to get that job. I was 65 kgs, up to 33, went to 83 in 7 years, turning 45, man, back to 63. Well, that's good. Bram, I want to get back to where I was because I don't feel comfortable with this weight. But I think I'm going to get myself a stationary bike like the Oosthuizens advised. I've just been so busy, I haven't been able to take care of myself. Carl Duplessis, what's up? Gang-affiliated tattoos is a problem. Yes. Medicals expired 2 weeks ago. Got rescheduled on Friday for this coming Tuesday. Staying hopeful. There you go, Chaos. Good luck with that. Unfortunately, I have to get the medicals again. Go to them. Would you say there is still hope for us in a case? What's your take on a case? Loretta, I mean, we've already covered this, have we not? I mean, you're just asking me to repeat something I've done before. I know you're stressing, but okay. Also, you're asking, remember exactly what the heck you wrote. To be honest. Okay. Well, I answered this already. Did you not share with me privately something that might have been an impediment? I seem to remember that. Maybe I'm getting confused. Kids are starting school in Michigan on Monday. Cool. Yeah, the novelty will wear off at school. I appreciate that, Loretta, that you're having a hard time expressing yourself. If you're in the commando system, so will that be a problem? No, it was a legal system, but you're going to have to explain it. You're going to get interviewed. You're going to be asked a lot of questions about it. Yep. But as long as you didn't commit any human rights abuses or criminal acts, you're going to be fine. Just going to be a lot of questions. Hendrik van der Linde, I have no friends or family USA, but I wish I could go to Farm Hawaii. Nope. You're not going to Hawaii. We don't send refugees to Hawaii. Carl says, oh, good. Okay. Proved October medicals expire. All things come to those away. Dems, I hope it works out for you. Jennifer, beach vibes. Ooh, divorce decree is sufficient. Yep, should be. It's a legal document. Once the U.S. is settled with job and so much, how would one go about filing out a Freedom of Information Act? Well, you're not going to get everything. You're going to get some information. So you just go to the department and you go on Google, look for that department where it's at, and look for their FOIA request and do a FOIA request. You can do it online now, as far as I know. You used to have to do it on paper. It was hard. Roculus, thank you for the 40 Rand. Excuse me. All right. Interview. Friend went for an interview. He did well, but it was for administration position, but it was political because he was from a different town just because he didn't get the job. Where is this at? In South Africa or the U.S.? Beyond the mainstream. Welcome to you. Yeah, don't compare your case with others. Doesn't work that way. Yep. Now they contact you. If your medical's expiring, they get in touch with you because they can't process you without valid medicals. So if your medical's about to expire or they're expired, they will initiate that. That's how it works. Hey, Vegas, what's going on, man? Dogs and accommodation. A doggy friend offered me accommodation in Arizona, so they will send you the place you have accommodation. No. That's not what I said. Please stop hearing what you want to hear. I said you can request it. If there's an agency, they'll make an effort. Normally. It depends on agencies being willing to take you and absorptive capacity. We don't put 10,000 refugees in Keokuk, Iowa. There's only one there. None would have gone there except that she had a tie. She had a friend who offered for accommodation and to pick her up at the airport, and all that was taken care of. It alleviated the agency of everything, alleviated the government of everything. She still got her grant money. They sent her a card with the $2,000 on it. She got all her money, and she's got a great case officer in California who's helping her. That was from this morning with Ann Filion. So don't read into what I said. You can ask. You can ask. There's no guarantees here, all right? Would you give private German lessons? Well, I suppose. I mean, I could do that. I looked, and our farming industry looks to not be impacted by a program. Most don't realize almost all farming is corporate and BE minors. That's interesting, Circular and Quagmire. That would refute the claims that others are making. And I'm interested. That's an interesting angle. I wouldn't be shocked. I would say that it can't possibly be entirely true because I know several farmers who've abandoned their properties and their farms are falling to disrepair. So it may not have a major impact, but it certainly has an impact. I was with people on Friday for their medicals. The people were friendly and helpful, but the poor little ones was crying so much, like the injections. Yeah, sorry, Sharon. Yeah. How long would it take for a person to apply for finance to buy a house in the property you say? Well, Leon, again, that's every case is different. There is no how long. We have a refugee whom I interviewed several months ago, one of the 59ers. 4 months after he got here, he bought a house. Yeah, maybe it was 5 months. He lives in his own house. He bought his house in Iowa last year. A refugee. So, but typically you're going to have a credit history, and you're going to have income. And you can't devote more than 1/3 of your income to pay for housing costs. Otherwise, banks won't loan you money. So, yeah, but he had a letter of employment. He lived in a town. The bank was willing to back it. He got his loan. But without a credit history, you get a higher interest rate. And a higher interest rate can manifest in a lot more money. So, yeah, there you go. People should be judged on action, yet tattoos are not well received unless you work in a creative field. Well, tattoos should be judged on what they are. People use them to show their affiliation with criminal organizations. Ignoring them is perilous. Receive approval letter, still sane and patient. Thank you, Rukikulus. Okay. Eugene Rue, thank you for the 35 rand. Appreciate that. He attended the interview. Was it discriminating? Huh? You're asking a question, but no question mark. Karen's still in hospital. Okay. People are leaving. People are leaving what, Karen? Did you meet people at the hospital who are refugees who are waiting their tickets? Is that what you're saying? And I mean, a lot of people are leaving? Must say, can't wait to interview with you, Colonel. As soon as we're there. Well, cool. Go on. Look forward to it. And there it is. Conditional approval does not mean you're approved. Okay. Bloody injection hurts. Forgot one. Oh, I've had them all. Come on. Man up. They don't hurt. The only one that hurts is the frickin' rabies vaccine. That one. And then the anthrax. That hurts too. Make sure your intake questionnaire application shows completed. Exactly. Yeah. Don't say in progress. You got to complete it. Cultural orientation guy told us that the flight ticket loan that you have to pay back can be used. Well, I've been telling you that for over a year. All these people, I don't want a loan. I don't want to borrow money. It doesn't matter what you want. You're not going to get to fly over on your own. You're not going to be able to refuse it. They're going to pay for your damn loan. And, well, I'll pay it back. Why would you pay it back? I've said that forever. Don't pay it back until it's due. Why? Because it's going to build a credit history. And it's interest free. You couldn't ask for a better deal. So they give you $2,000 to pay for your flight. You have to wait 6 months before you even have to pay it back. And then you pay it back with no interest. And every payment builds a credit history. You don't get a credit history because you have money in the bank. That's not a credit history. That's money in the bank. You get a credit history by establishing reliability and paying your bills and your debts on time and within your manageable budget. That's why people get these things that say, well, it's $34 in 6 months. You're like, it's $34? That's not much. No, because that's what they say based on your income or what money you have, you should be able to pay. It builds a credit history. As does paying your utility bills on time. These are all things I told people last year when Arctic said I should make videos in February of last year. I don't understand why people are not knowing this. I mean, it becomes frustrating. I've already told people this a year ago. No, Ewan, it's fine. I'm not angry at you. Meant reassure those people that worry about credit so much. No, thank you for that. No, thank you. Appreciate you, but it's come up in a few things. So, yeah. Following Ruben's interview, is there any clarification why they're still onboarding new cases instead? Okay, first off, we don't know they're onboarding new cases. What do you mean onboarding new cases? What does that mean? What does that mean? First off, let me ask you that question willy-nilly. Are you aware that the embassy built this village, according to Reuters, in Pretoria on Embassy Annex that will process 4,500 people per month, potentially? If you're aware of that, ask yourself this question. If they're not sending 4,500 people per month over here, why in the hell are they building a village that can process 4,500 people? Because that's the truth of it right now. They can't do it. They're not up to the level. They don't have the personnel to do 4,500. But why would they bother wasting the money building a place to process 4,500 people when there's already people waiting? One hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing. That's all I can say. That's all that makes sense. John says, before IRS and SARS, how will that work for refugees? What do you mean? Before IRS and SARS what? I don't understand what you mean. I don't understand what you mean. No, snippets. You don't have to go rabies to the States, but I had to have it to go to Africa. Guys, I mean, I have 7 books for the immunizations. I don't want to hear about how they hurt. I've had more jabs than any of you will ever have in the military. No, you don't need rabies to come here. There's a worldwide shortage of rabies vaccine. They only give it to people who've been bitten or people in high-risk situations. Helene says, I don't know if you've answered this before. I don't want to be in it. I want to know the difference. Okay. Well, earlier, Chris Wyatt answered your question, Helene. Obviously, you didn't see it or you missed it in the chat. He answered your question earlier about that. Chris, you still here? Yeah. So under review and admin hold. Again, this is why this is not something you should ever even see. You should never see the portal. Yep, you should never see it. Administrative hold could be a variety of reasons. Okay, it could be that they were going to put you in San Bernardino and suddenly the agencies refused to take people before they notified you. And oh, by the way, if you think that they don't do things and don't notify you, just look at the case of Veroshka. Veroshka flew out of Joburg, or is it Joburg? Yeah. Anyway, she flew out of South Africa. She flew to Paris. She didn't know where she was going. We know other people that knew months before. They were contacted by their case officer. And the only reason she found out where she was going, you want to know why? Because International Organization of Migration, when she arrived in Frankfurt, notified Harrisburg, or USCIS notified Harrisburg. And the case officer here knew about it. She landed in D.C. She still didn't know where she was going, but she got a message from the guy that became her case officer. He knew she was coming, but he found out the day before she arrived. And then he reached out to her. So this whole thing is just so stupid and so messed up and ignorant. I don't understand the SARS question. Only deal with cash, never owed anyone in my life. Well, that's a problem, Sir Glenn Quagmire. If you want to build a business, you need to borrow $250,000. How are you going to do that? You have no history, no credit, none whatsoever. No one's going to take a bet on you unless you put up money from the bank as collateral. Then you wouldn't need a loan, would you? No, credit is good. A credit history. You can't survive in the real world without a credit history. When I go to buy a car, I get an interest rate far below anyone else, and I can get a loan just like that. I've never had a loan denied. I've never had any trouble getting a loan, ever. And if you think you can survive on cash in this world, you can't, unfortunately. You should have cash, and you should use cash, but you need a credit history. Yaku replied to me on WhatsApp. Okay, all right. When so many wealthy Americans moved to Cape Town, Jennifer asked, they pushed, no, stop. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. No. See, I tried to buy a house in the Cape Town area in 2000. It was the Brits who came there, not the Americans. There's a hell of a lot more Brits there than there are Americans. All the Phil Craigs who came down there, who filled up the Western Cape. They pushed up all the housing prices in Hout Bay. Now Hout Bay sucks. They're the ones that did, not the Americans. There aren't many Americans there. Now, don't blame it on Americans, buddy. The price of houses in the Western Cape began exploding 25 years ago, courtesy of the Brits, not the Americans. We've had very little impact. Injections not as bad as some people make. Yeah, they are quick and painless. Pretty much painless. Don't hurt and have possible side effects of mild flu for a day or two. My brother and I did the intake question on the day it was published. No contact. Did the screenshots of all. Okay. All right. When you arrive at a layover, how do you know where to go in the said airport? Because there'll be people there waiting for you. There'll be IOM people waiting for you in Frankfurt or in Paris or rare occasions London, or when you get to Atlanta, you'll go through, everyone goes through customs. So you have to go through customs and then they'll find you. Don't get your bags and stay in the baggage area, because when you get to your final destination, you collect your bags. The agent can't, your case officer can't come in the bags. It's secure. You have to exit and go outside and they'll find you. Once the refugees in the U.S. and have employment, will we need to pay IRS and SARS? You only have to pay the IRS. You don't have to pay SARS, as far as I know. It's okay, John. It just didn't make any sense to me. Okay. Dallas got what? What's this? Dallas got something. I got to get going here soon. Young daughters. No suitor will ever be allowed as a tattoo. There you go. I'm with you on that, Tibet. If the Army calls me back to active duty for Iran, would you go? Well, of course I would go, Knight of Justice. I have no choice. I could be arrested. I would go. But why would I refuse? I would refuse. I would go. Yep. Somebody said, bye, everyone. Chat tomorrow. Okay, Bram, take care. Here they go to the guy with the tattoos. Okay. So many wealthy Americans moved Cape Town. No, I already read that. Okay. My questionnaire, brother and I did. Okay, I read that already. Dallas got the multiple highway system. Took me 18 minutes to plan it. Yeah, I know. It's insane. There's too many cars down there. Anthropic's new AI should oversee the program. Been working for the German refugee industry for 10 years. Watching you get irritated show is fun. Okay. All right. I'm glad you're having fun, T-Shane. Das ist ja mir egal. Also sie arbeiten für die Flüchtlinge. In Deutschland. Wieso? Vroshka said, so messed up, but I arrived safely 29 hours later. Yep. U.S. info staff read signs. Yep. Okay. Europeans killed Cape Town for locals. Exactly, Charles. It wasn't Americans. Mozzie, thank for the 10 Rand super sticker. Fair for some Americans, but mostly Brits. Yeah, it's mostly Brits, yeah. Just like the Costa Brava. They ruined that, too. Refugees can be drafted, but we don't have a draft, Sir Glenn Quagmire. But refugees must register with the Selective Service. It's a law. If you don't, you could be in trouble. As well as anytime you move your residence, within 10 days, you must notify USCS. You have to do it, but you can do it online. A lot of Germans own homes in the wilderness. Okay? All right, thank you for sharing that. All right, Andrea, thank you for being here. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap up this one because I've got to go meet someone who's hiring South Africans. And I'll take my bloated waistline with my hypertension and my high blood pressure and my out-of-control sugar with me. Here, let me see if I can make the stomach look big. There you go. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. Ouch, that hurt. Ow. That hurt. Pushing my stomach out that far. 60 days until my medicals expire. Should I send RC an email? You can send them an email if you want, D-Pals. I don't think they're going to answer, but you're welcome to send an email. But you're way short. They don't start worrying about that till you're 2 weeks out. Beer belly. If only. 25 is too high. What's 25? Please don't do that again. I know it hurt, man. I can't do it again. Ouch. Oh, Charles, nice try, man. Now you're all going to make me go get a damn stationary bike just because you're pissing me off. All right. You did see that I forced my stomach out, right? You saw that, right? That's not actually my stomach. It was painful. Hurt like hell. And I'll push it out. Oh, Madeline's blind now. So some of you actually think that's my stomach. No, it's not. It was muscle to push it out. It was muscle to push it out. I have lots of Blue Bulls jersey, but I don't mind, Brian. I have another one, double X large. Catch you guys later. I got to hit the road. All right, that was too much fun. Oh, my stomach hurts now pushing it out like that. Ouch. Ouch. I don't recommend that. All right. Cheers, everybody. Take care.